Alright, so our next pair is NZD USD. So for NZD USD on the weekly time frame, I'm sure you can see this bullish move. So market is obviously bullish. Reason being, let me use the line chart so that I can see it better. So on the line charts, we have this push here, retest. So now this became the new higher point, the new lower point. Market finally broke above this higher point here, as you can see, with a new lower point and continues. So that's why the weekly is bullish, because markets had this retest, broke above this new high point, and now give us a new one. So on the daily, market is obviously very bullish. Bullish for now. Market is still bullish. This market is creating new highs, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. On the 4 hour. So now here on the daily, what we're expecting or what we're seeing here is that markets finally broke above here. This place is actually a well-respected support level, which has resistance level, which has now become support. If I should keep going back, you see it has multiple taps, which is making it, at least we need at least 3 to make it a strong level of either support or resistance, and we have up to 4 or 5 of them. So on the 4 hours, what we're waiting for now on the 4 hours is for markets, as you can see, as it's retesting, for market to have a pullback, reject from support, from EMA, and from another psychological level to continue moving to the upside. On the next pair, which will be our USD card. So on USD card, on the weekly time frame, market is bearish, as you can see, head and shoulder pattern up here, broke and continue to the downside, break, retest, continue to the downside. On the daily, it's a series of lows and highs, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. On the 4 hour, properly. So on the 4 hour time frame, market too is bearish. I'll tell you why. So market here created a head and shoulder pattern here, broke it, continued to the downside. I capitalized out of this bearish move here at the last second, actually the last move before market switched bullish. So that last move, market actually switched bullish and then switched back bearish on this head and shoulder pattern here. You can see it, left head, right shoulder, bearish. So it broke and shifted back bearish. Now it's retesting it. Now this week you're seeing here, some people see this week and be afraid of entering the market, but I've actually seen it happen before and actually profited on it too. Let me show you AUD card. So AUD card, keep in mind same thing happened here, and this one I think it was new self. So you can see market has reached the highest point I've reached again, which whenever I reach here, it rejects to the downside. So it reached it, gave us a head and shoulder pattern, and at the right shoulder, market had this week, which it did and stopped me out, and other people that actually saw this trade too. But one thing I understand with fundamental analysis, which is the news, that they tend to still respect the technical. So as far as you go with the trend, fundamental can have its weak movement, but people still respect the technicals, which is what you actually did here. So based on the technical, which is price action, which is the head and shoulder pattern, we are seeing here rejecting from resistance level, giving us a reversal chart pattern, breaking support and retesting it. It wicked us out, stopped me, but as I saw this engulfing here, I went to lower time frame and I entered again, and as you can see, sales all to the down, like all the way down. So most likely the same thing is going to happen here on USD card too, because they're both card pairs, so you're expecting similar things to happen. So now here, left head, right shoulder, break, retest this week. So expecting next week now to have maybe a bit of a weak field to reject from this neckline here, which is already rejected from the first neckline, but to reject from this neckline here or the right head and continue downside, or it just continues to the downside. So we'll be actively interested in this market to see what it does. Continue to the downside to sell. So next pair, Euro GBP. Euro GBP is one of my nice pairs. At least I've profited time from this pair, like this one, from N3 all the way to TP, from N3 all the way to TP, pull back, break my TP again. So let's start with the weekly time frame as usual. So on the weekly time frame, market is bullish. Reason being, as market had this pullback here, it did not break below this low. It just had a weak rejection. If my market had body closed below here, it could have shifted bearish, but it did not body close below it. Just had a weak, and then it continued. So now market have finally broken this resistance point now, and which is now support. So now it's having that retest or that pullback to continue to the upside. So on the daily, we're having same thing. Lowest point market have been to the highest point. So anything within here is price action. Market did not break below or above here is price action. And to top it off, we have an inverse head and shoulder pattern here. Left head, right shoulder, break, retest. So to top it off now, we have an inverse head and shoulder pattern here too. Excuse me. So now the market has finally broken here. It's the next support zone. It was resistance, it now made support by breaking and retesting it. So now we're expecting market to have a proper rejection here, a proper price movement in this zone before it moves back to the upside, or before it continues to the upside. So that's what we're now expecting now. On the 4 hours, you can see a potential head and shoulder pattern, but the reason why I say head and shoulder pattern might not be valid because the weekly and daily time frame is in sync already, and the higher the time frame, the respected it is by markets. So now the highest time frame, which is the weekly and daily now, they are bullish. So you cannot expect the higher time frame to be bullish, and then the lower one that is respecting the higher one will now have more movement than the daily one. No. So I'm expecting the market to have a small or a series of price action within here, consolidation before it continues to the upside. So I'm also interested in GBP, Euro GBP. So for the next pair that we're analyzing, that is AUD CHF. So for AUD CHF, I don't need to say much here. You can see market is obviously bearish. Lower low, lower high, lower low. So let's market to continue to the downside. On the daily time frame, market is bearish too. This is the highest point market have been. The lowest point, anything here to is price action. And with it, to top it off again, you can see a head and shoulder pattern, which is actual, because the head and shoulder pattern here is rejecting from this strong level of support. The reason it's strong because it has more than 3 taps. You can see 1 tap, 2 tap, 3. If I should keep drawing it back, this is you see a 4th one here, a 5th one here, rejection again here too. So it has enough rejection from that area. That's why it's known as a strong level of support too. So I also actually missed from this trade again. I think it was on Friday. The Friday that, I think it was that weekend or that week that Iran and Israel news were going on. So market had a kind of movement like that I did not like. So I avoided the market that day. So as you can see, reason I missed this one, we had head and shoulder pattern here too. Break, retest, doji, and then engulfing. Let me go down to the 1 hour time frame. So on this market, on the 1 hour time frame, after we had that break retest, price, I was not actually involved in this market or active in the market at that point. Price had this pullback, which was nice, engulfing too, and then a bullish candle, 2 series of bearish, and then engulfing. So I was expecting for this bearish candle to pull back all the way into this zone. This was where my lat was into the zone. So as market did not reach there, so my lat was never ticked off. I did not know. Market just continued all the way to take profit, as you can see. So now this week we're expecting market to break this low, retest and continue, or have a major or a minor pullback either to this level or here, and then we'll continue the sell to the downside. So that is just basically it for AUDHF. So Euro USD, which most people capitalized on, I was seeing it on different groups, or some of my people messaged me that they caught the bullish movement on Euro USD. I was like, oh, that was nice. So I said, let me look at it. So Euro USD, we can all see this huge weak movement, this huge golfing candle here. So Euro USD is obviously bullish. Let's see, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. Doji here and a lower high too, and a high movement again too. So on the daily, market on the daily is bullish. Market has been respecting this zone here for a while. Then it finally broke above it, retested and continued to the upside. So it's still bullish on the 4-hour candlestick. We are seeing that market on the 4-hour is bullish too. So now we're expecting for market to have a pullback down to this around psychological level here to reject some EMA2 and then continue to the upside. If you should not have that deep enough pullback as I wanted to have a break retest, which I was still waiting for it to pull back into this zone again to reject from the EMA and also from a higher around psychological level, and then we'll continue the buys to the upside for next week. So the next pair I'll be analyzing is my last pair actually, NZDJPY. So NZDJPY on the weekly time frame, market is actually bullish, and I'll let you know why. So let me just use the line chart real quick so that you see it. So NZDJPY, let's start from here. So you can see market was bearish, obviously bearish. It broke. The market broke here, retested. So now this is the new lower high. This is the new lower low, new lower high, lower low, higher high. So the market broke below this high here. It came shifted structure bullish, higher high, higher low, higher high. Here we can see an inverse head and shoulder pattern, retracing back to the neckline and then continuing to the outside. So that's why I said the market is actually bullish. So on the daily time frame, you can see the market continued bullish, and now it has reached a level that has been a level of resistance in which market is respecting currently, which is this level here. Whenever market comes here, it rejects, comes here, it rejects, comes here, it rejects. Now it's back there again. So what are we simply waiting for on the 4-hour, on the daily, is for market to break above this structure point here, retest and continue to the upside. Or if market should have a pullback into this support zone, I'll be looking for buys down here to continue to the upside. If it should break above here, I'll be looking for a retest and then to continue the buys to the upside. So that is basically all the market I have for the week. Thank you, and those that have been listening, thank you all. Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment on pairs that you want me to analyze for you for next week. And for those that are actually interested in gold, I do not actually trade gold, but if I should get good enough comments, I can analyze gold, because before I was in the gold market before. Let me show you guys real quick a swing trade I sent out to someone who used to trade gold. I sent it out to the person to trade gold, and the guy he actually capitalized out of it. So this was the market. I just analyzed it really quick for him. So you can see market, whenever it comes to this high, rejects, high, rejects. So as of last week or a week before that, I told him, or I showed him, that once market comes to this point and gives a bearish rejection, rejection, and then retraces back and engulfing, he should sell, which he actually did. He got a 1:6 on this market. So this was where he entered from. Let me just use my tools to show you out. On the 1 hour, where you can see it properly. So on the 1 hour, you can see it was given a kind of head and shoulder. He broke, retest, harder engulfing. So So after this engulfing was when he chatted me, oh, market has actually given an engulfing, should he enter? I said that no, you cannot enter market when it's creating a low. I like to retrace. Understand? Because if you're trading a low, you want to try to minimize our stop, to reduce our stop loss. So if you actually enter the market at this point, you will obviously be in drawdown. So I told him to wait for market to have a pullback and then another red candlestick, which is what he did. You can see it is respecting EMA. He had a pullback, so he entered sales from here. That's where he entered from. His stop loss was at this point. Usually I will tell them wherever your this thing is your support or resistance zone, you should take your stop a bit. So he took it a bit, which was to here, and then his take profits was around here. I think it was 1:4 he took. Yes, so this structure point he entered, he stopped at this next lowest point here. This one is 3.6. So as you can see, market went all the way. It took from Monday to market hit his TP on the following Tuesday. So about a week he was holding this trade. So the following Tuesday was when he actually hit TP on this trade. As you can see, sold all the way, swing trade. I was like, oh, good for you. I don't really trade gold. Enjoy your week. So yeah, so for those who actually wants to see small sum analysis on gold or want to analyze for gold, I can do that. Just leave it, type it on the comment below, and let me get your comment on this video. So thank you. See you within the week and next week for more.